Hello friends, welcome to the Success Square channel, and today in the Linux series we are having the next topic of file permissions. So first of all, in Linux, access to the files is managed through the file permissions. So this ensures that only authorized users can access files and the directories. So in the case of access permissions, we are having three different categories of users. The very first one is known as the owner, which is represented by the U. And who is this owner? The creator of the file. Next we are having is the group, which is represented by the J. Now who is this group? The owing group, which means that the users who are the members of the group. And then we are having the another category which is known as others, and others are represented with the O. So who are these others category? Other than users and group, whatever the left users are, we put them under the category of others. So we are going to follow the sequence only, that is U, G and O. In the context to these users, we are having different types of permissions. So what are these different types of permissions? The very first one we are having is read, and the symbol for denoting read we are having is R. So what is this read permission? Read permission is basically when you are going to view something or you are going to read the content of the file. Second type of permission we are having is write, and W symbol we are using to denote the write permission. So what is write permission now? Which is going to allow us to modify something, to add the data, to remove the data inside the file. Last type of permission we are having is execute permission. So what is this execute permission? First of all, we are going to denote the execute permission with the X. And what is execute? When you are going to have some file which will be having some code or any program. So to execute that program, we need this permission execute. So these all are the different types of permissions in the case of access permissions. So then we are having two modes of the permissions. The very first mode we are having is the when you're going to add any permission, when you're going to take back any permission, then when you are assigning all the permissions to all the different categories of users. So the very first one we are having is add. Add means when you are giving the permissions to the users. So for giving the permissions, we are taking the symbol as plus. Similarly, when you are taking back any kind of permission, we are using the symbol as minus. When you are allocating all the permission to all the different users, then we are using the symbol that is equal to. Then how we are going to get all these permissions information? So the command we have already done in our previous videos, that is ls-l, which stands for long listing. So then this is the argument, the name of the file. Whenever we are going to execute this command, we will be getting the output like this. So it is very important to understand the output because it is having total 9 parameters. So what are these 9 parameters? The very first parameter we are having is the type of file, whether it is a regular file, like this is the example of the regular file which is denoted by this hyphen, or it is a kind of directory. Instead of hyphen, in the case of directory we will be having D, or any linked file we are having, it will be represented with the L over here. Then we are having three different triplets of permissions. Triplets, I mean to say the very first triplet, like it is denoted by the braces. Now this is the first triplet which is for the owner user. We used to call it owner. The next triplet is for the group, and the last triplet is for the others, other than the owner and the group. So this is the others. So this particular field is for the permissions. Then we are having the next one is the link. You can call the link is a kind of a pointer to any file, like any project is there which is shared among multiple users. So whatever the multiple number of users will be there, that count we are going to write over here. So you right now you can call it as a link only. Then we are having the fields of, this is for the owner, like in this example Walbert is the name of the owner who has created this file of name test. Then the owing group name, so this is the name of the group, that is support. And the next parameter is of the size of the file, like this is showing that zero size, which means that it might be created with the touch command, because touch command is used for creating the empty files. Then the next field is of when the file is created or when it was modified. So time and date of the creation as well as modification of the file. The last parameter is the name of the file. Like you can see, the name of the file is test. So at the end, the last parameter is the name of the file. So then we are having is there are two different the command basically used for giving and taking the permission is the chmod command, which stands for change mode, which means that from permissions you are either giving the read permission or taking back the write permission. Any of the permission when you're giving or taking, that means you are changing the permissions. So that is change mode. Now how you can change? There are two different ways through which you can change the permissions. The very first one is known as symbolic, because with the help of symbols like UGO, RWX, plus minus, with the help of all those symbols, we are going to give and take the permissions. So in this video, we will be doing the very first category, that is symbolic representation. Then the second type we are having is the octal, which is also known as numeric, or you can say absolute. So in this, we will be using some default values for all the permissions. So let us start with the very first type, that is symbolic notation. So I told you with the help of some symbols, we will be giving and taking the permissions. So let's start with the symbolic representation now. Okay, first of all, I'm going to create one file of name file. Okay, how to see the details of this permission? The command we are using is ll, which stands for long listing, or you can use ls-l. So right now it is showing the default file. Whenever you're going to create the new file, it is going to have these permissions, that is read, write. See, the first parameter, the first hyphen is for the type of the file, but this is the next triplet we are having. The first triplet is for the owner, the next triplet is for the group, and the last triplet is for the others. So right now the owner of the file is having the read write permission, the group is having the read write permission but not the execute permission. Similarly, the others is only having the read permission. Now right now we are having these permissions on this file. Next is, let us change the permissions now. How we are going to change the permission? The command we are using is chmod. So suppose I am going to give the execute permission to the owner of the file, and the file name is file only. So command is executing successfully. Now let's see what is the effect we are going to get. See, the effect is the permission we were giving, the execute permission to the owner of the file. So we got that execute permission in the first triplet, which belongs to the owner of the file. And we can see one more thing. Earlier the color was black, right now the color is green, which means that whenever your file is going to get the execute permission in any of the case, its color will get changed, which means that now the file has got the execute permission. The next variation we can do is, suppose I want to give now the group as well as others, I want to give the execute permission. So with the one particular command, you can give both the permission to both the users. So GO, which stands for group, and the last O stands for other. Now which permission you want to give? I want to give the execute permission. And the next field is the argument name, that is the file. So the command has been executed successfully. Let us see now. Execute permission is given to both the categories of users. Yes. Earlier group was not having the execute permission. So execute permission is given to the group now. As well as the others were not having the execute permission. So similarly, execute permission is allocated to the others also. Now, if you want to revoke means if you want to take back any of the permission, that also can be done. Similarly, the command will be same, that is chmod. Now, suppose you want to take back from the group, you want to take back the write permission, and from others you want to take back the execute permission. So please understand the syntax now. The command name is same. From the group is having the write permission, I want to take back that write permission. Others having the execute permission, and I want to take the execute permission back. So see, command is again executing successfully. Let us see now what is the effect I'm going to get. So the effect is, say group is, earlier it was having the write permission, so we have taken back the write permission. Others was having the execute permission, now others is not having the execute permission. So this is how we are giving and taking the permission. One another variation we are having, that is using the symbol A, which stands for all, which means that when I'm going to give all the permission to all the different categories of users like UGO, honor, group, and others. The name of the file is file only. So see, it is executing successfully. Now let us see the effect of this command. See, all the categories of users are having now all the permissions. So I hope you got the working of the chmod command with the first type, that is symbolic. So thank you so much.